Hi. If you're looking for a summary of Reckless by Lauren Roberts, you're in the right place. Reckless is part of the Powerless trilogy. It, of course, starts with Powerless, followed by a little novella, which is called Powerful. Now, you may be here because we have Fearless coming out April 8th. You're going to want to be ready. And if you've read this a long time ago and you forget the events of this book, I'm glad that you're here. If you're unwilling to listen to the whole audiobook or reread the book, then this is going to be a great video for you to get you caught up and remind you about everything that happens in Reckless. I'm going to keep this video under 20 minutes for you. This is going to save you a substantial amount of time because the audiobook for Reckless is actually 11 and a half hours. So I'm going to be saving you 11 hours. So here you're going to find the major plot points in book 2 before you jump into book number 3, which is Fearless, again coming out April 8th. I'm very, very excited, and I hope you are too. I feel like I have to say this, but because this is a summary video, this video contains spoilers. Major spoilers. Actually, all of the spoilers. I'm not going to give you every little detail about this book. If you want every single minute detail, you're just going to have to reread the book or listen to the audiobook. But if you just want a refresher before you dive into Fearless, I got you covered. Once again, you're in the right place. If you enjoy bookish rants, raves, overall book discussion, summaries, don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm glad to have you on this channel. I love this channel. Thank you for your support. And without further ado, let's dive into the summary of Reckless. This story is told from alternating perspectives, mainly between Kai and Peyton, though we do get the occasional chapter from Kit's perspective. The story opens with Kai seeing Gale. Gale is a cook and a mother figure to both Kai and Kit. Gale shows up to bake a sticky bun, just like she does every single year. This is in honor of his sister Ava's birthday. Ava is actually deceased. Kai loves and appreciates Gale for her thoughtfulness as she shows up to do this every single year without fail. Kai admits to Gale that his first assignment as enforcer is to kill Peyton Gray. Gale admits that they all love Peyton and she does not envy this mission of his. Kai takes the sticky bun to Ava's grave, which is under the willow tree. He wishes her a happy birthday. Meanwhile, Kit, who is now the king of Ilya, forgets about Ava's birthday as he is holed up in his study. Peyton went to her childhood home, which also serves as a resistance meeting spot, to recover from her wounds from fighting and killing the king after the purging trials. She is there for 3 days. As she's getting ready to ditch the slums, the enforcer, Kai, and a few of his Imperials break down the door to her home. Peyton had time to hide in the chimney before they entered and searched the house for her. They actually don't end up finding her, but as they leave, Kai lights the house on fire. Peyton escapes with her father's journal, which is full of notes regarding his power as a healer. Kai catches a glimpse of silver hair as she flees. He throws a knife at her that catches her in the thigh. She is bleeding but manages to hide on the top of a roof until Kai and his team leave. Kai, as you can imagine, is feeling very conflicted as Pei still holds a very special piece of his heart. But she ended up killing his father, the king, in book 1, and his orders are to retrieve her and deliver her to Kit, who is, of course, the new king of Ilya. Kai, as the enforcer, and his brother Kit, now the king, have a conversation. Kit has not left the study since his coronation, and he appears very tired. Both brothers have feelings for Peyton. They are both aware of it, but neither of them have broached the subject in the past. Kai does not know how to speak with his brother, as he is now king and no longer just his brother. They both indicate that they don't know if they will feel relieved or disappointed if Peyton gets away. Kit expresses doubt that Kai will bring her back to him alive, considering his feelings for her. Kit worries that Kai will run away with Peyton. Kai says that he will not disobey orders and confirms that he will bring Pei back to him alive. To address the mistrust, Kai gives Kit the ring from his finger and tells Kit to return it to him after he earns his trust back. Pei makes her way through the slums and begins her journey across the desert, which is called the Scorches. She intends to cross the desert in order to reach either Dor or Tondo. She doesn't know which one she's going to end up in. For several days, she is walking across the hot sand. She is not in good shape. She is wounded, she is burned by the sun, and she is low on water. She feels like she is going insane, and she starts talking to the sand. She ends up collapsing very near the town, though she doesn't know which one it is. She surrenders to sleep and knows that once she does this, she won't be waking up. But she does awake to someone carrying her, who she assumes is Kai. It is not. It is actually a guard who saw her from his post. He plans to carry her back to the city without knowing who she is. Because Pei believes it's Kai, she attacks the guard and breaks his wrist. When she realizes that he is not Kai, she apologizes and they both begin walking back toward the city when the guard suddenly realizes who she is. He recognizes the Silver Savior. He states that there is a high bounty for her, dead or alive, so he pulls a knife on her. She ends up stabbing and killing him and going into the city, of which she soon discovers is Dor. Pei is running out of money quickly. She steals a little bit, but it's not enough to survive off of. She has to hide her face and her hair as there are wanted posters around the entire city. The king has ordered her to be returned to him and is willing to pay a handsome sum for her. She conceals her face and hair with a scarf, which is not uncommon as the city is always being swept through by sand from the desert. Citizens of Dor have to wear the scarves to keep the sand off their faces and out of their mouths. Pei happens to hear about fighting events occurring in an underground cellar and goes to participate in order to make some money. Kai is still pursuing her, but he hasn't caught up to her yet. He finds the guard in the sand and knows that Payton killed him. He goes into the city with his Imperials and begins his search. He encounters a thief trying to steal his coin pouch. He recognizes this thief as Abigail. This is the little girl who he was supposed to kill just for being an ordinary in Book 1. Instead, he lets her and her family flee through the desert, a journey that many do not attempt as conditions are so bad that the survival rate is super low. Abigail originally believes that Kai is there to finish the job by killing her. After realizing that he is there for different reasons, she leads him to the fight cellar where Kai sees Payton fighting in the ring. She is concealed by layers of clothes and a face and head wrap, but he immediately recognizes her by the way that she fights. Kai challenges Payton to a fight. Raphael, who is the dude who orchestrates all of the fights, insists on giving Payton a break before her fight with Kai, as she has just won her last match. Both of them hide their identities. Pei uses the name Shadow and Kai uses Flame. Payton runs off and Kai pursues her. He throws his knife at her and again strikes the same place in her thigh. They are on the top of a roof and share a kiss before they break away and agree on the following terms. They fight in the ring. If Pei wins, Kai lets her go. If Kai wins, Pei will go quietly back with him to Ilya to be delivered to the king. In the fighting ring, they both exchange blows. Kai hits her in the face. Pei knees him in the stomach and groin. Pei rips off his face covering, exposing that he is the enforcer / Prince of Ilya. He does the same to her, and everyone is able to identify her as the Silver Savior, the woman wanted for killing the king. The spectators are afraid of Kai and his powers, so they allow Kai to take Pei away from the ring. It is not clear who technically won because the fight halts after their identities are exposed. Kai takes her to an inn where they share a room for the night. Payton takes the bed. Kai takes the floor. They have a conversation about whether the ordinaries are diseased. Pei expresses that she does not believe that she is. Kai states that he's unsure, but has always been taught that ordinaries weaken the elites and that ordinaries are diseased, which is why the king planned to eradicate them to begin with. Kai is shocked to learn that he is the one who killed her father. He had no idea. They both killed each other's fathers, though Payton tells Kai that he killed a father and she killed a monster. As they journey back through the desert toward Ilya, one of the enforcers gets rough with Pei, calling her a bitch and yanking on her hair. Kai threatens the man and pretty much claims Pei is his property and that no one else is to touch her. They are on horseback, but Payton is afraid of horses and is reluctant to ride one. She insists on walking. Kai ties her to a horse and allows her to walk for the time being. Payton schemes a way to get the knife off of Kai by saying that she is tired and wants to ride the horse after all. As he's helping her up, she flails around pretending to be fearful of the horse as a distraction in order to lift the knife off of him, which she does successfully. As they make camp for the night, Payton sleeps next to Kai and puts her cold feet on him. He is shocked at first and asks what's wrong with her, but eventually allows her to warm her feet on him. In the night, Pei is rescued by the remaining folks from the resistance. They kill the Imperials but take Kai as captive. They head back to Dor. Pei uses the stolen knife against Kai during the rescue in order to keep him compliant. Payton's reunion with Lenny, Lena, Finn, and team is really very sweet. Payton learns that the resistance has dissolved, unfortunately. Too many perish at the end of Book 1 during the fight at the final trial in the Purging Trials. Lenny leads them to a rundown building where he introduces everyone to his mother, who is providing a home for the Mixes. The Mixes are a product of an elite reproducing with an ordinary. These half-breeds have lesser powers, but powers nonetheless. They meet a young girl, Lenny's adopted sister, who can summon small amounts of fire, as well as a handful of other Mixes who display their power for them. The crew goes to sleep that night with one person watching Kai, as the roles have temporarily been reversed and he is now the captive in this scene. But that night, Kai and Payton are kidnapped. They wake up in a small cell tied up back to back, hands tied behind their backs. Pei feels claustrophobic and has a panic attack, but Kai is able to comfort and calm her. They discover that Raphael was the one to kidnap them, as he wants the bounty for both the Silver Savior and the Enforcer. Kai and Payton plan their escape. They saw at the rope binding their hands on a piece of jagged rock jutting from the wall of the cell. They free themselves and attack the guard coming in to give them food. They are able to flee through the sewer, but it's quickly filling with water. They hit a dead end right as the tunnel is about to fill completely. Peyton is panicking as she has not learned how to swim. Kai reassures her, "I've got you." Just as they are both about to be submerged, they share a passionate kiss, believing that they both are about to perish, and they both have regrets for never being able to be together. At the last moment, Pei notices that they are below a grate. They pound on it until Kai is able to move and push Pei up and out of the sewer from the grate, but he succumbs to the water that he has inhaled and sinks to the bottom of the sewer. Peyton looks down and contemplates allowing him to die and to drown. She would be free. Kai is the only one who could successfully hunt her down and bring her back to Ilya. If he dies, she is free. But she can't do it. Even though she cannot swim, she dives in to grab him and bring him to the surface. He isn't breathing initially, but she's able to resuscitate him. Kai immediately shackles their legs together with a chain which he has brought from the cell. It was his plan all along, so that Peyton could not escape him once they both broke free. Shackled, he can get her back to Ilya. Pei is extremely hurt by this. He betrayed her trust, and she is hurt by this action right after they share a very romantic moment in the sewer. They travel through Dor looking for an inn to stay in for the night. Kai instructs Pei to steal a skirt from a merchant so that the long skirt will conceal the chain linking them together. Pei is successful in doing that, and the merchant actually happens to find Peyton very attractive. The merchant begins to ask her out before Kai steps in. Kai is very possessive and was very jealous of the merchant's interest in Peyton. Eventually, they're able to find an unoccupied room at an inn, and they climb through the window. They both take turns taking a bath, the other sitting outside the door as they are still linked by the chain that they are able to slide underneath the door. They end up curled up in bed together as Pei is shivering and Kai helps warm her using his body heat. They have to run out of the inn the next morning because the innkeeper discovers that they stayed there without paying. As they flee, they have difficulty losing the innkeeper, and as a ruse, Kai steals a hat from a merchant. He plops that hat on Peyton and presses her against a wall. He begins kissing her neck in an attempt to lose the innkeeper as they appear to be nothing more than a love-struck couple. It works. The innkeeper does not recognize them. Kai tells Pei that he plans for them to travel through Sanctuary of Souls, which Pei is very concerned about, but apparently Kai has survived that location plenty during his trainings with the king. Kai tells Peyton about his little sister Ava, who died young. She was a crawler. She was born weak and was kept a secret from the rest of the kingdom because the king didn't want to admit weakness in the family. Kai loved her very much and still mourns her. As they walk, a man jokes to Kai that he genuinely has a ball and chain. They share a laugh, and the man seemingly walks away. But he comes back with a few other men when he realizes who these two are, and he wants to collect the bounty for both of them. They run, with the chain still linking them, and they barge into a gentleman's club where they attempt another ruse to blend in again. Pei sits flirtatiously on Kai's lap while he gambles. A woman eventually approaches, trying to sit on Kai as well. Pei gets very jealous and shoos the woman away, saying that his lap is taken. Pei and Kai spend the night in the loft of a barn. Kai admits that he didn't mean to kill Pei's dad. He was just following orders, and he panicked when her dad woke up. When he originally barged into the home, her father was asleep, and Kai planned to leave him be until her dad woke up, and in a panic, he ended up running him through with a sword and effectively killing him. Pei feels slightly better by this excuse, but is still obviously very hurt by it. The next morning, they steal a horse and have a brief encounter with the stable hand before fighting him and getting away. They make it to the Sanctuary of Souls. They plan to cross through there in order to make it back to Ilya. Sanctuary of Souls is dangerous due to the weird sightings and the bandits that frequently roam the land. Meanwhile, Kit is not doing so good. He's been holed up in his office the whole time, barely eating, thinking about Peyton and mourning his father, though he recognizes that he shouldn't be mourning him, as his father cared very little for him and his brother. He has a conversation with Gale, who reminds him that he missed Ava's birthday. Kit is advised that he should marry. He starts carrying around a ring box, dreading the union. As Kai and Pei are collecting arrows that they find embedded in the stones, they come across a beautiful oasis with a shimmering pool of water surrounded by trees. They both get into the chilly water. Peyton trusts Kai as they wade out further into the pool of water. Remember, Peyton is scared originally because she cannot swim, but Kai again reassures her that he's got her. They share their third passionate kiss. And you know what? This one is different because this is not a product of imminent death. They both decide that they can pretend that their love isn't forbidden. It's only for this moment that they can be somebody else, just two people who can share a romantic moment without consequences. When they make their way out of the water, the weather gets very stormy. They take refuge under a large flat rock supported by other rocks. They make a fire, which is difficult with wet wood. They are forced to use the pages from Peyton's father's journal in order to get the fire going. Peyton is shocked to discover that there are diary entries in the book that she had never seen before. She thought that this was just a book full of notes regarding healing. Peyton and Kai read the diary and discover that Peyton was actually left on the doorstep of her father's home. Her mother actually died with her baby girl. Her father raised Peyton as his own and never told her that she is not his biological daughter. Her father also writes about how the king paid all the healers to spread a false rumor about ordinaries carrying a disease in order to further promote his mission to eradicate them all and leave a society of only elites. Kai is stunned to discover this and feels horrible about the innocent, non-diseased people that he has killed as ordered by the king. They both have a sleepless night, and before they take off in the morning, they are confronted by bandits. Kai gets shot in the shoulder with an arrow. Pei goes on a killing rampage. She is furious that they hurt Kai. She uses the bow and arrows that they have found and collected on their journey to kill a handful of bandits. She doesn't feel remorse until after it's all over. After Adena dies in Book 1, Peyton can no longer stand the sight of blood. She has a mental break after being covered in the blood of her loved ones, which means her father as well as Adena. When Peyton is trying to clean and dress the wound in Kai's shoulder, she goes pale and feels very ill. Kai comforts her, and Peyton asks Kai to cut her hair. He does, and now it's shorter in length. At this point in the story, they are very close to making it back to Ilya. Their final stop is in a field full of bright red poppies. This is where Kai and Peyton finally cross that line and stop fighting the feelings that they have for each other. They share a passionate kiss once again, and Kai admits that he is falling in love with her, but she does not verbally reciprocate, even though she feels the exact same way. The field is very close to the castle, and now that Kai finally admits that he is falling in love with Pei, he decides, duty be damned, he plans to let Peyton go. He realizes this a little too late because two Imperials spot them. They are both flashes, so they get there in a matter of seconds. Kai ends up telling Peyton to play along. Kai acts as if nothing romantic is happening between them and tells the men to cuff her, pretending that he is simply bringing back his prisoner and fulfilling his mission. One of the Imperials ends up slapping Pei in the face, which makes Kai absolutely livid. He threatens the Imperial and says that she's mine. Kai and the enforcers escort her to the palace where they confront Kit, who appears extremely worn out. Dark circles under his eyes, messy hair, crumpled attire. Kit asks about the mission. Kit asks if there were any unforeseen circumstances between the two of them. He is digging to see if anything romantic unfolded between the two of them. Kai lies by saying no. Kit pulls the box out and informs Pei, Kai, and the rest of the elites who are in the throne room that Kit intends to make Pei his wife. The epilogue is from Kai's perspective and having to come to terms with his brother marrying the woman he loves. He is crushed. There you have it. There's Reckless for you in a nutshell. If you're still with me thus far, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. I hope this video was helpful. If you read this book, leave me a comment. Let me know if you remember most of the details that occurred in this book. I don't know how long ago you read this, but for me, little details fade very, very fast. So I hope that you have a chance to watch this video before you end up at the bookstore on April 8th and before you dive into Fearless. If you are interested in seeing my review of this book, which does contain spoilers, by the way, I will drop the link to that in the description box below. And if this video didn't do it for you, you want to go back and read this book and you don't already have it, I'm also going to drop a link below to the Amazon page where you can buy yourself this book. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about this book and let me know if the summary was helpful to you. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a wonderful day. I hope you're reading something great, and I'll catch you on the flip side.